Wow.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hello. That was even new to us, I guess. I was not prepared for the new tunes.
No, it's StreamYard has updated the default song and dance.
Nice.
So, how are you doing, Stephen?
Better.
14 days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sorry, that was my fault, so to speak. Last week I was a bit sick.
No.
I could not make it. How are you?
I'm also good. Exciting stuff, exciting times at work, lots of work to do, and I haven't been sick for 3-ish weeks, so it's going in the
almost a record.
right direction for me. Yeah, exactly. It feels like that.
bUnit, huh?
No.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
You're ready.
So
You're ready for this.
Yeah, I am. I actually saw. Did you see the list of changes that they have planned for .NET 10? There's a few Blazor stuff in there that we might want to have a look at and make sure that.
Yeah, I feel we should first finish our .NET 9 stuff. I mean, we are settled for .NET 9. Let's say it like V2 .NET 9 stuff.
Yeah, the V2 release of bUnit, that is. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
let's do that first, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's only like 7 months in, and there is the next release.
Yeah.
Time flies.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway,
so should we do the usual thing where we
we can
have
do
you
that.
take us through the community things? I've seen a few things fly by. I haven't had time to look at them, but thankfully you are the master of the community, so you do have that covered.
Yes. Okay. I guess we can dive into. Let me. Now, how do we do this? Let's. Does that work? Wait. Damn it! That was the wrong button. So just for folks wondering why the screen is changing, here to stay. Oh, perfect.
Yep.
But I like to have us on the right side like that. Ooh.
Yep.
Perfect.
Let's go with that.
Yes. So StreamYard changed a bit of the UI, and there's new stuff you can do, and obviously
New buttons to click. Yeah.
new buttons, and that's what we did. We pressed new buttons. There's a few things going on in our beautiful repository. Let's start with, I would just go, chronologically. So this one was the first. There was an exception while that person tried. It's basically an input file upload, and I'm pretty certain so he used this file uploader. Unfortunately, just run the test component under test. There's a bit of information missing for us, to be honest, to really figure out what's going on. I do think the easiest, and that's what I did, is, we have a whole section in our documentation just about that. So, if you are ever hitting a wall with bUnit, the documentation we have should help you out to a big extent. Not everything, but let's say the basics should be all covered. So let's hope that this one is covered as well. Let's see. I would say we are waiting for the feedback of the author. Do we have a label for that? I think so.
Yes, I think you can tag it with waiting for somebody to...
input needed, huh?
Yeah, input needed, yeah, something like that.
I like that. Let's take that. Good. Then the next one, let's go back. That is from yours truly, aka me. The interesting bit is if you have a component which does call state has changed on after render, you get a Stack Overflow.
Okay.
In V1 and in V2. So I also added the. You can see this here. That's quite interesting, huh?
That's a weird thing. I would assume somebody else has stumbled across that at some point.
Exactly.
It's not uncommon to call status change in on after render. You might not.
Yeah.
So
Blazor server.
Okay,
hello.
Well, hang on. So if you do this in Blazor as well in production, right, it will also go into a loop, right? Because status change triggers another render, and it will just keep rendering and rendering and rendering.
No, that doesn't happen. So
Are you sure?
state has yes. Yes. Mainly because this comes from my own repository where someone So the origin of the issue was someone built something with JavaScript, or let's say better local storage, which you can only access in the on-after render if you're using Blazor server. And then he calls basically status change. It's about bookmarking in my blog so that you can press the bookmark button, blah, blah, blah. And there it works. So if I just, check out the repository, I just run it locally, everything works as expected. And status change doesn't necessarily mean you have a new render cycle. It just indicates to the render there might be something, please check. But Blazor can decide.
Because the whole reason why we have bool is first render is that if you always call status changed in on after render, it will cause a new render cycle, go through all the changes that are, it will just...
Maybe we can just check it in a second.
Yeah. Let's create a very simple sample because I'm fairly sure that
the simple thing... Okay, yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The simple thing is we do some stuff with if has rendered equals true, then call on after render. So our logic triggers that. But it does also in V1. So it doesn't matter. Let's dive in a second. I guess we need code for that. Then let's go to the pull requests. The only interesting bit, there's some update.NET tools. I have to check why it's red. Anyhow, then where we left off.
It's red because I think I saw that it's because Simon Krupp, who submitted that, didn't sign the commit, and then we want people to sign that commit so we know who they say they are. I think that's the only reason. If you look at the actually it fails the test as well. Okay.
Let's see. Failed. There's a lot of... Shouldn't I see a failed one at least somewhere? Well. Let's... that is interesting.
Yeah, I've seen that before. If you just rerun it, it's sometimes I think...
wait.
.NET test...
Ooh. No usable version of libSSL was found.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a test runner's problem, not our problem. I guess. It's like
I think
it's because
that's also
it's .NET 7. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the issue if you have outdated. Yeah, we should go to V2. I mean, it's fine. In theory, that pull request would be legit. Let's say it like that. We can just merge it at some point. I'm just a bit reluctant to press the merge button, and I'm also reluctant to do those here because, to be honest, I don't want to do much work on main. Every time we do this, it just takes our resource. That's just that.
So actually, we can also just switch to have a policy where unless it's a bug situation, we don't do updates to V1. Well, at least until we have a good stable release of at least a solid preview release, perhaps. So it depends. Like, it could also be if there's a dependency we have to update because it has, problems in it, security issues. Yeah.
Yeah. This is where we left off, V2 API review. This is basically what we wanted to do last week and today, going through our public API surface and check, do we really have to expose it in the way we do it right now? And then that's what we also talked about last time. I adopted this whole tUnit thingy and basically boiled it down to some documentation updates. So if you're using tUnit, then there are some nits and bits you have to be aware. I also added, by the way, xUnit v3. There are some nits and bits you have to be aware if you're using tUnit. I added here this section about the source code generators and that they basically cannot see the output of each other.
No.
Yeah. And the last one, let's go to discussion. There is this one. And I'm also not 100% certain what's going on. So let's ignore this part for now. Just here. We have basically a select with multiple options, and these are populated by a dictionary. As you can see here, that's all person dictionary and it's an option. And Marcos tries to basically, here you can see it here, to basically select everything. So he wants to select all three options. But it doesn't do anything. And I'm not 100% sure if this case is allowed the way it is.
I think actually the way the JavaScript version of the Blazor runtime, the thing that would in Blazor server or Blazor WebAssembly would actually do the callbacks and all of that. I think it actually is. It's all stringified data. So if you put that into a comma separated list of just I would think that
he did this, and I also tried to reproduce it locally. It doesn't do anything.
Work. Yeah.
This one.
But yeah, I think maybe that one or the one below, because that would be the JSON version of. But I can't remember exactly what the code does in the underbelly of the Blazor runtime. Me
neither, because this is nothing we do.
To an extent, like we could, and I remember back many years ago when I was first creating some of those methods, that there are certain. I think I have an overload for change where it tries to do the right thing. Like if you just pass it in the real .NET type versus just passing in a string version of the content, which is what Blazor will do under the hood. But we can spin up a sample project, just a empty one, and we can try out a few of the things you've highlighted here, and just see both the on off the render and this thing, and see if that's a good answer. See if there are some low hanging fruits that we can do in bUnit to make some of this easier. I definitely remember having looked at change and thought there might be something there where we could improve things so it's more.
Sorry, I just wanted not that I have some critical stuff open, So I even spun that up. You never know. You never know.
Hide all the love letters.
Exactly. So this is basic. I just copy pasted that. That is literally the test. And here is the test in question. I thought that this version should work. But what you're saying is... Can you go in and
look at the signature to change? Just look at that. Because we have where T value, and if you continue onwards, where you can see we have the create from a method. If you scroll up a bit again. Yeah, there you go. So this takes a generic argument T, and then it calls create from and passes in the value. So try going to that. No, the create from method. There you go. Yeah. And it will have it'll okay. So we can see it does some things. It uses, I don't know what, bind. It will fall through all the way to, no, it's actually going to an IEnumerable. It will probably match with iCollection IEnumerable, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if I just check his stuff, this is a collection, this is a collection, this is a string, this is a string, this is a string. So we should be in one out of those two ways. So the interesting bit is these ones, or? And this basically calls format value for each individual thing, which is in our case a string or an integer.
Or in integer, so it will go to bind converter format value, and that's a Microsoft thingy there. And it matches up with iFormatter, I guess, which number is. I think it was numbers, right? He was passing in.
Yeah, exactly. Formatter. Ooh. Okay. I think it should be this one. Given that he's having integers and the string version we would handle in our code.
It would be a list of T, right?
Yeah.
So maybe actually to be able to debug this, you want to open up bUnit and just make the test case in there. Yeah.
Let me do it quickly
can
here.
You in Writer, can you step into?
Yes.
Can you step into?
Yes, we should be able to, because it's
okay. Let's try that then.
How's it called? We have the debug symbols. Let's go. So.
I want to the top corner instead. Yeah. So we weren't covering up the debug output.
That's not great. Okay, so just for the sake of completion, this is an array of strings, so that we're on the same page. This is the version I took right now, which doesn't work.
No.
And I mean, it doesn't work. Before I go in, let me go here, and I want to just show you here in cut the markup. You can see that none of them has the selected property, which you would assume they should have at this moment in time if you change it. As far as I understood the JavaScript version of it.
Well, okay, so let's. Well, I guess there's two things. We want to maybe have just a Blazor. Can you just create a quick Blazor server project where you, and then we have a test project next to it, so we can actually spin it up and see how it behaves in the real world.
Okay, let me do this for a second. Let me do this. I'm so sorry. I will be. Yeah. Haha. So let's go back on stage at the stage. So here's, by the way, the other test. But damn it, it's also a unit test. Okay, let's have a third solution. 3 times the charm. So this is a web project. It was a .NET 8. I would make it a web app, huh? I try to be as close as as possible to the. I don't think it makes any difference, to be honest.
No, but do set interactivity location to global. Yep, there you go. That should be the same if it's .NET 9. This is like fundamental functionality.
Yeah, I think so, but okay. So who cares? We want to have basically the component. This is this one, huh?
You could just move the component in and put it in.
Yeah. Oh, I have a bit too much open. Yeah, I know it's not a page. Excuse me, but
we'll allow it.
Okay, and then we want the test where I can just basically, what did he add here? This dictionary.
So it is an int to.
So. And we want to have our, how was it called? Test comp. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Fair enough, Steven. That was. And then we want to bind the value to all persons.
That looks about right. It's. What does the yellow squigglies mean under the component in Writer?
Person changed. Yeah, that's fair, but I don't care because that's the magic of bind value.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain that.
But I think if persons changed, it's not. It should you're using value changed. So I think you have an extra property in the component. That's a property called persons changed, not value changed. So if you go into that, go into the component.
You mean here?
Yeah, there's persons and all persons. So
you are absolutely right. And you want. Wasn't it a dictionary?
It was. But it's all persons. So persons is an integer array. So you want to pass in persons, and then you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it would be all persons, I think.
Yeah. And then we have our selected persons, basically.
Yep.
Hey.
That's a good
neat
right there.
That was very neat. Okay.
Yeah. What kind
move that here.
Did you get a new Mac recently? I can't remember. Are you still in your M1?
It's an M2, but
M2,
it's yeah.
Okay, so they kind of look selected, I believe.
It looks selected. I mean, this is the unselected version, and we can make it easy that we say like, okay.
Yeah. But when you just booted it up, it had 1 and 3, right?
So
yeah.
Okay, so that works.
If you look at the markup though, so how it's actually represented in HTML, because it might not actually be, so they don't have the selected property on them, as you can see in the markup.
Can I just copy everything? I feel like I do not know how to do that.
You found it before. Just do the finder. Yeah, there you go. So there's no selected property on them.
How does it know it then? Interesting. I really thought like you have a selected here, so it, like that.
Yeah, I would think so too. But I guess maybe it's a multiple thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But at least we know that's not the case. But somehow the magic anyway happens. So the output should be just as we're on the same page. Or the output is that you here have these selected people.
Yeah.
So your persons is basically the selected ones.
Yeah, and the bind property should then, the persons should reflect the ones that are selected.
Exactly, the index of them.
Yeah.
In the dictionary. So basically this guy here.
Yep.
Yes. So we see in Blazor it works somehow. That's the.
So, but what was the assertion of the test? Because if he
the assertion is basically no. He was checking the. So what he's checking is how many li elements do I have? The list elements in this unsorted list. I can go back.
So, Callahan is saying very interesting. It didn't show the CSS on the element for the selected option. Yeah, there wasn't really anything that indicated that it should be.
Exactly.
Selected, but it still showed rendered as selected.
So, somehow. Yeah. Exactly. And what he does here is he basically gathers all the list elements, and then just asserts that the list has 3 elements, which, as you can see here, doesn't have anything.
Fine. Yeah. So
exactly. That's absolutely fair.
So I guess two things we can do is we can add a breakpoint in the. What you can something you can always do, I think, is in the test component. Yeah, so we go in there, convert from, but now it's strings. So I think if you go and change it to just a list of numbers 1, 2, and 3, for example, here. So I was expecting that to work because of the code we just looked at, but you can try it again.
Ooh. Okay, so we are in. T-value is an int array. We expected that. Let's go in here. I would assume we will take this route.
Yeah, we will get to either of the format values.
So, we do.
Got in there.
And here our result is obviously an object array of those 3 elements. And
that's because that's what Blazor expects.
Exactly, and if I go out here, I expect, because format value, you can see it here, basically makes strings out of it, which makes sense because how else would it work in HTML?
Yeah.
So these 2 versions we took should be equivalent. It doesn't matter if you pass in an int array or a string array, the outcome, the observable outcome should be the same, at least if I understand everything correct. Okay, once, we go out, the value is obviously, 1, 2, 3, so our string array now. And then we are done. I mean, yes, there's a render cycle coming.
Yeah, but that should happen.
But this is synchronous, so there's even if we would now do wait for, I guess it shouldn't matter. It's all synchronous here.
Okay, so hang on. If you go back into the test component, and let's add something in here. Let's add an on. Alrighty then. So
on parameter set.
I am wondering if the persons, because there's a bind parameter. Oh, hang on. Kids are home. 1 second.
Yeah. Yes, there is a bind parameter, so you can see this also here. So the setup is basically what we did in our live example, that we have this component, we bind to the event. So we could also, in theory, if I take persons, is the plural of persons? I would say multiple persons. Yeah, that makes sense. We can also assert equal 3 this
A suggestion I might have would be that we go in and in the onChange event handler or in the test component.
Yeah.
So let's start by validating that the onChange handler, if we actually have one.
This works. So just that you know, so the binding works because person array is 3 elements wide.
Oh, and you passed it in up there. Yes. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So the event propagation itself works.
Yeah.
But sorry, you wanted that I go here, and you wanted to have an on after.
Basic. So when on the input select, you have persons changed invoked, right? I would the value changed property. Let's make it. It could. I guess you can't put a breakpoint in directly there, but if you make it a method instead, that you can put a breakpoint into, so you can see where we are hitting that. In
dear stack trace,
in the component, just create a component. Or are you still debugging?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we receive there?
So X is our. Huh? I showed it. Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, obviously.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So the only thing we are doing is that the thing is, so I see what's going on here. We're calling person changed, and that is triggering the callback. But it isn't, the callback is calling back to the test, and the test itself is not calling the component back again and saying, hey, like that, we don't have, the binding doesn't work in 2 ways in the test.
But the binding does work.
No, yeah. So, but the thing is, normally, if I have an outer component, right?
Yes.
If you go and render the test component, if you go render the page component that has a home component that has the test component in it, right? If that is the test,
if you wrap that,
yeah, then the test will probably work, because what's happening is that there is an outer component that receives the person's binding, and that causes a re-render on that, which causes it to pass down the new person's list that you passed up. But the test doesn't do that. Like the test code doesn't do that.
Well, but we could also, but then this would mean if I do a simple, oh god, that should fix the problem already.
I am not sure, because yes, the bind.
No, but we don't receive the updated version.
Oh, we do. The persons dot you have it. You have an assertion down online. What is it? 1023. That seems to receive, but I don't know if you call render, if that actually causes the person's list to be passed down again. Oh, sorry. Let's see what Callahan is saying here. Typically, that be a class. Yes. Well, so we are talking about how the Blazor does things.
The selected inside the option.
Or some element styling. So the option element is styled based on the user's OS, and has very little CSS. But that explains why you didn't see any CSS class or anything. It's handled by the browser CSS. Yeah, but I think what I was expecting to see the selected attribute being added.
Yep.
So not a CSS class, but just it's probably a thing for the multi-select list that does the thing that it does. Yeah, you cannot. I think. Oh no, okay, sorry, never mind. You are in another. I thought you were in the test.
No.
The third time's a charm, but that's no. Yeah.
So basically, I want a very the poor man's way of dealing with this is we just hard code everything in here.
That's good enough, I guess.
Public in selected persons with 1, 2, 3, and then.
Well, you probably want to have it as an empty list initially, because you want to mimic what it does in the test.
Bind person. Jesus. Okay, that is set. Sorry for my being stupid.
No, it's
odd person?
I feel like it's your editor that's not helping you very much.
No. That makes it worse. Okay, so that said, we have this guy. Then inside the test, we basically can drop this. Who needs that? We do not want to render the test component. We want to render, the.
So I think
yeah.
What we are seeing is all when you just render the component directly, right? It's like having just at the root level of the page, you don't have anything that triggers the thing that should do the thing, like the re-render from the top level down. So I think that test should pass, I would imagine. Well, the bind doesn't work because there's no, the assertion
do I use bind?
15. Sorry.
Sorry, that's absolute garbage. That it's not needed anymore. That was just for me earlier, just to see if it propagates upwards. Yeah, you're right. There we go. There they are. Bind. Yeah, unfortunately. I do not know why. So let me try this with something else. What if I say here, if I start already at, no, that works. Oh. I do not know how I clusterfuck that twice in a row. Anyhow.
Actually, what's happening is that he's just in the test component. You have the person's changed callback that you're triggering, and that will basically call the parent component and say, hey, here's my callback event handler, and here's my new data, and the parent component will, in production, will re-render itself, which will it will update its persons list like you have in your wrapper component, and then it will re-render, and because you have binding, it will pass down the persons list back again down to the parent to the child component, or to the component in this case. The problem is that the test code itself, bUnit test code, doesn't explicitly call when there is the bind callback like that. And if it doesn't even pass the bind callback in the test component like you have here, if you can, wrap the lines a bit, like if he doesn't pass the bind persons anyway, right, at all, then then the only thing he does in his callback is that he's calling to somebody that doesn't listen anymore, right? And the selected list isn't saved, isn't local to the test component. So I think if he doesn't want to have that wrapper thing around, I think a proper test for him would actually be to do what you did before, where you just have a person's list that you bind, and you get a callback, and then you do the assertion you have on 24 right now, and that's a good enough assertion, because
wait, before we do this, we explicitly did something like, wait, this is V1 or V2 what I'm using right now?
It doesn't matter, it's the same.
No, it's just for this one. Do I need this one still? Oh yeah, look at this. We do have this guy bind, but this should do the trick.
I can't remember. Perhaps.
Let me try that.
Yeah. I made
it explicit.
Callback. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the helpful grayed out what type are you working with. It just takes up a lot of space.
Yeah, there's a shortcut where you can disable that, but I do not know how. Initial value would be an empty array.
Yep.
And then we have the changed action, which
there you would.
Yeah.
There, I guess. Well, I'm not sure what happens there, but
I would say persons equals n.
I would expect that the bind method we have there simulates what we did with the razor code before, which is that it doesn't actually make a difference. So now you.
Well, that would be good, wouldn't it be?
Yeah. Because the problem is also you need to pass down the parameter of the actual all persons array. Otherwise, there's nothing to select.
Oh, you are right, of course.
It's always like being the co-pilot here. You spot all the things that are missing.
So, Amazing. Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. It's just a test. So that looks. There's yeah. So this one passes obviously. Ah, yeah. No, that's really the same.
Yeah.
I really thought we did a bit more than what. Yeah, but okay. Okay, so that doesn't work.
Yeah, but that is an explanation to the person. So what I actually typically do in my, like, so if I was writing the test component, well, the thing, the wow, I can't speak. The component called test component. If you go into that again, I would just change the implementation so that it doesn't just call person changed. It also sets persons explicitly. Like it sets person and then calls persons changed. So if you want to do it,
that would re-render the thing, yeah. So if we
so it still re-renders the thing, but you just keep the code as you have it. But you can just do instead of x in the invoke async, you just say persons equal x, the persons equals x, and that will still pass it into invoke async and assign it at the same time. It's a
I know.
Now that's the shortcut version of it, right? Yeah, it doesn't look pretty. So if you undo all the things you did in the test.
Yeah, so this one.
Yeah, sure.
Boop. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I would also write that code not just to make bUnit tests work, but I would also just write it like that anyway.
You sure?
Well, probably not inline like that. I would probably have value changed be a method being called.
You can tell me the whole truth after stream.
No. I think because for me it makes sense, right? Because what we have in this particular component, you have a list of you're printing out all the persons down from line 14 to line 20, right? So in that case, I would update my persons list in the component and then do the callback as we are basically doing in a fancy inline version here in line 5. Because that makes sense to me from the functionality of this particular component's point of view.
So that you're self-sufficient, basically. Because otherwise you need the parent component to do the work for you.
Yeah, you need the parent component to say, you gave me a new list of persons, I'm going to pass it back down to you, right? And it might not do that, right? So if it didn't have the bind property, but it was using method, like, so I don't know. Yeah, it depends, but at least I think we have a reasonable explanation to give to the person who raised the issue of the question. So he was doing the right things in terms of passing in, using the change method and passing in stuff correctly. But yeah, I think maybe one thing that could have been a slight improvement would be if you wanted to use the array syntax, is that we could have a specific version of the change method.
Which takes an area of... Okay. Oh boy, yeah, I will write this off stream. Ooh. Make that beautiful code. Now it's absolutely correct in 100% of the cases. TM. Yeah, I like that. I take that. Good. If you want, I will. I'm not sure if you can. Do you listen to me? Yeah, you do. I'm not sure.
I am listening.
You just nice. Yeah, I like the TM. There's I do not know. What if I continue doing that? What happens now?
Yeah. But again, I would, if I don't want to have that assignment where I, assign my local versions of persons in my component, in my test, I would just then do the bind and see that the callback is happening. And then there's no reason to test that you rendered out in a second render when it's passed in, because it's like if you want to do that test, you initially pass in 1, 2, 3 in the persons list and don't do the change, because then you have the second version of like the there's no reason to double test things, I guess. That's my point. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense right now, but yeah.
I wouldn't say it's double testing because the act is different. The outcome is the same, true, but the act would be different.
So I guess my point is, if I want to validate that that if there is a person's changed callback, like there's two tests here. One test, this particular test, is validating that person's changed gets called when you change something in the selected thing, right? And you can assert against that, like you not by using find all, but just using at your array on line 14 and assert that it now has 3 items after you called selected changed or changed on line 21, right? So that's one test. The second thing is you want to say, well, if so what would happen at the high level component is that it will receive the persons list and it will pass that persons list back down to the test component again, now with 1, 2, 3 in it, and that would cause the test component to render the LIs out. Well, if you can, that's could also be viewed as 2 separate tests. Like you have one test where I pass down some content in my persons array, 1, 2, 3, and then it spits out 3 LIs, and then I have a test saying that if I change something in my inputs, multi-select options, and I do that, then the person's changed callback is invoked, and a new list of persons is a person IDs or whatever it is passed back out to me. So, yeah, hope that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. But I do think we'll just come back with our findings on, and it's up to the person to decide.
Yeah. So it's a works as intended kind of a thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's also a little to do for us to put this in the documentation, especially such edge cases. Could be a documentation thing to me.
Yeah, probably.
Also for our future selves.
Yeah.
Because I feel we had a similar thing already with bind in months to years ago. I don't know, but that's just yeah. Good. Do we wanna continue with the other issue?
Yes, let's do that.
So that would be this one, where
That
you
would be
have
that one.
yeah, exactly. So you have a simple.
If you pull that code into the test project you created before.
Yeah, I can do that. You mean this guy?
Exactly.
Let's remove this. Let's remove. I mean, it doesn't matter. I can just put it in here. That should make absolutely zero difference. You do agree, or should I put it in a subcomponent? I mean, a page is nothing else than
it
a
doesn't
component.
matter. If you want, you can add something to the screen, like a counter or something. I don't know if you want, like render count.
Yeah, but that is unfair. If I have a render count, and obviously it changes. I need something which doesn't change the HTML or the markup.
Yeah. But the thing is that if you put a breakpoint, you could start it off to begin with. But what will happen is it will call that in a loop, right? It will keep calling that, and
Wait, come on, put it there. Oh Jesus, what did I do? I have different windows here. That's fair. Okay, this one I want. Okay, right.
So if you just remove the breakpoint and let it run, and you don't get anything in the browser, do you?
No.
Because it never renders anything because it's stuck in a loop. And that's my point.
But I mean, there's nothing to render.
It's
empty page.
I thought, don't we have the normal layout thing where it shows something on screen?
No. It's the minimal
empty
setup.
layout?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it obviously renders the initial thing because that happens before and after render.
Mm-hmm.
The question would more be, what happens if I do something like that? Let me do this.
You could just have an integer that every time you call on after render, it increments.
Yeah, I don't want to do that for the reason that it changes something. Now my question is...
you want to have something you can actually do stuff with, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What? What? I mean, I'm fine with that.
No,
but
you
what?
Probably won't. No, you probably don't want to have it there.
That works. That is interesting. Well, so it's not good, that for sure. But at least it doesn't crash with the Stack Overflow.
Well, I think the reason why you have a first render is because you want to check. Like, you don't want to do that in a loop, right? It's just...
Yeah, that's the obvious candidate here, yes.
Yeah. Now, I granted, if it should... I think what Blazor does is that I would think... I'm not sure, it doesn't continue on the same stack, right? So if you let it run for a bit in Blazor server, I think every time it just kicks off another thing, so it just does a lot of work, but it doesn't stay on the same stack for it. Like it
exactly.
Render,
I mean, we can check that. Oh, wait,
yeah.
shit. Oh, shit. Damn it. So if I do this a few times, so just detach, attach, then you can see here, obviously the stack trace looks quite nice. It's a lot of stupid work, that is true, but it doesn't crash. And obviously, so we crash for, where do I have it? bUnit. I have too many projects. I'm messy. I'm so sorry. I still had it open. Oh, now it's not open anymore. Oh yeah, I have to test in here, by the way. And the reason it does that is because we go in a cycle with the on-after render cycle in on-after render event in the rendered component, which triggers our process rendering queue thing. Wait, if it compiles at some point.
Yeah, and I guess the default for us is that we don't want it to run on a separate... We don't split it up in a separate thread. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought you looked like you got something in your
eye. No, my glass. Sorry, my glass is dirty.
Yeah. No,
I'm so sorry. So exactly. So we are in here, process render queue. And then you go here and he has rendered, which is, I mean, this is the first render cycle. That has to be true. Otherwise, I mean, that doesn't make sense. And I removed the other thing. That is in here. We have this div edit count. Oh God, how was it called? Where is it?
I'm gonna move us over here.
Yeah. This bit here, was it this one? No. This one I'm looking for.
Well, so if you run it a bit, let's see the stack trace that actually happens when it stack overflows. So that should identify where.
Here. Here. Exactly. In here, you come always in. Is parent component already updated? And it basically here has rendered true. Let me go in here again. Has rendered true. Even though it technically didn't render. And then we are here again. And you can see at the end, these process render queue calls pile up. Because they are triggered from the on-after render in iRendered component. So if I do this and press F5 a few times.
Added to, so I think it's probably, we have a, did I remember, did we actually change the dispatcher or do we use the default dispatcher?
Default. We tried that once and then decided not to. But we could also argue, which is fair, you know, that it's probably even good that it blows up in your face. I mean, yes, technically we are not emulating Blazor, that is true. But on the plus side is that as a test, I'm just making things up now to argue why our implementation is good.
Yeah, it's good. Let's think out loud.
It's good because basically your server will be in this loop anyway. It will do this all over, which is not great for scalability, maintainability, and a lot of other things.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
So maybe it's a non-issue. Well, it's
perhaps. I think it's something that'll take a bit more time to dive into and see if there is an easy way to safely allow it to just do that. But I think one of the things that we do in our test is that we wait and like when you can I actually look at the test real quick, that example test that causes this?
So, no, oh, uh-oh. I guess this placer surfer in the, uh-oh. Uh-oh. In a minute, is this fine for you?
Yeah.
There's something, as you can see, my CPUs are burning right now.
Is it because you still have the Blazor server app running in the background?
Maybe.
So okay, so it maybe.
Yeah, I guess I have to oh shit. But you can hear me still, or?
Yeah. Your video is going and all of that. It's fine.
Oh wait, let me just take interesting. Let me take HTOP. That is anyway better. Where is my writer?
Like the sample app that you, is that the thing that's still running, or is it?
Yeah, it's this. It's yeah.
Okay, so it just have a.
So. Is it normalizing again? Oh, somewhat. Good enough. Let's boot up writer again. We want this one. Yay! Yeah. So this test obviously is very, very stupid and very simple. That's why a simple class.
Can you? Oh yeah. So it literally just calls state has changed every time, and it doesn't do anything. And the only thing we do in the test is that we call render component.
Yes. And that blows up with an Stack Overflow, which makes sense because we will never exit that loop.
Yes, and I guess that's because can you look at the can I just show printout of the stack trace again? Like from the issue, I believe you had it there.
Wait, I crashed everything. Oh,
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep, this one, huh? Yeah.
There we go. So it's process. Notify. I'm just trying to see if there's any of process render queue. Are we actually even in that method?
What do you mean?
Like in our renderer, do we actually go into, do we override process render queue?
Yeah, but just having this log around to call base.process render queue. Yes. But
yeah, and that actually the log might actually be the reason why that it's doing this, because that forces it to stay on the same stack instead of trying to instead of just spinning up more threads that can run and finish one at a time. So we want to have that log in place to prevent multiple renders happening, which the test code can't then observe, right?
Yeah.
This is process pending render. Was that the name of the?
Yeah.
Yes, process render queue. That's a different name.
But here, process pending render, and this one internally calls then process. Yeah, I mean this private void that obviously we cannot override.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go and let's just step into that and see what's going on there.
Oh, sorry, that was a bit quick.
No, it's okay. Let's see. Is batch in process, so that should return true, because that's something going on already.
Yeah.
And if...
But I would assume that this one at some point should be 0.
Yeah.
But apparently not. So every time you call state has changed,
Yeah, that triggers.
probably something here will be added. Always. Always, always. Because, I mean, yeah, disposable count is 0. Because we should otherwise run into this return. There's my component didn't have anything to dispose of, so the count should be 0.
Yeah, so it will add, status change will add something to the render queue, because state of change essentially calls, state has changed essentially calls set parameters async, as far as I can remember. Right, so if you go to status change and go to implementation of that in your test component.
Damn it. Wasn't that, where did I have my
You just had it in the test itself.
Yeah, that's why I press on it and then it doesn't go there.
Oh, there you go, that one.
Should render, and then you have the render call.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the render call of the renderer.
Yes, that's the render handler. So no, it doesn't call, the renderer will call set parameters async, but the render handler is just getting in the render fragment, which is an empty thing, and it will, yeah. You can try to just go in for fun into bUnit renderer and remove the lock around the process pending render. Just allow it to go nuts.
Ooh. Come on. Am I debug build? Damn it. I don't learn much. Yeah, I don't learn from my mistakes. The pain wasn't enough until now.
Yeah. So Gallahan says that he didn't think that M2 could handle.
Yeah, I'm also.
I think it's,
I'm not sure if this is Rider going nuts because I had the open debug session. I'm not sure what Rider does at those moments. I don't want to blame Rider. I don't want to defend my M2, but M2, I like you. Good boy.
Yeah, no, I think in general, like the Macs have a good, initially when they just were released, the M versions of the Macs, I think they were doing all right.
You know what? Let me just go crazy.
Now, I think there's many also .NET developers from the .NET team themselves that are using M versions of the Macs. So I think it will.
Yeah, but we run into the same issue. It is also a Stack Overflow exception. That is interesting, huh?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much time we should, invest in that issue.
I think it's sort of a, for now, you can close. You can see there's a small chevron on the close with comment. You can also say close as
not planned.
Yeah. Go away.
Yeah. I mean, I still would argue in favor of the current implementation because it shows you that something is going on.
Yes, I can't think of a reason why you would have, like, I've implemented components like a small counter component kind of a thing, like maybe like a stopwatch situation where it count, like it renders every second, but you probably don't want to like go as fast as you can, re-render in a loop, right?
Yeah.
There's no value in that. There might be a value in do a re-render every second or every 100 milliseconds or something, because you want to draw something on screen, but just a tight, as fast as you can go loop is probably not what you want.
Fair. Oh, you weren't there.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I just got a message from my kid.
Good. I closed it as
Mm-hmm.
completed because it's basically what we want. It's fine. Okay. Yes. The other one I will answer off stream. Given that time is not on our side today, do you want to tackle something new? Is there anything we should tackle in the last 15, 20 minutes?
Yes, so I think let's have a quick look at where we are V2 wise. What are we? What is the to-do list we have before we can say this is a stable release of V2? I think, and technically, like, no. So my whole goal was I wanted to actually just go through the code and find things that needed cleanup or was redundant, right?
Yeah, with priority towards the public-facing things, because internal,
public,
private,
yeah,
no one cares. I mean, not no one cares, but we can change it while V2 is stable.
Absolutely, yeah. So yes, that would be. Well, we obviously can't make a lot happen in 20 minutes, but besides that, were there any things that we wanted to have done before we just say, hey, V2 is out, start using that instead of V1, and V1 will only get, emergency fixes from now on?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, there are two things. That is the API review, and the second thing is moving the current documentation as a subdomain or as a subfolder. I don't mind, to be honest. I guess subdomain is easier because we just copy paste this to a different thing.
Subdomain, but I would move the V1 documentation to a subdomain. And
yes.
Have the plain old bUnit/dev be the V2 documentation.
Yeah, exactly. If we have something like
V1, yeah.
And like the current one would say like, I mean, we already have a migrations MD. We have to add this, obviously. So we need here migration somewhere here, probably. And with the reference to v1.bUnit.dev. That would be nice.
Yeah. And what else? Well, yeah. So I guess we need to set up some, make changes to. Maybe we need to have like a branch, a V1 stable, or just a V1 branch, so that if there is a need for hotfix, we can go and do stuff on that, and backport from main to /stable to a V1 branch, and also maybe have a way for us to trigger a deployment of a stable release of a V1 after we switch all the things, like the stable branch becomes the stable for V2, and main becomes V2, the current V2, right? Yeah. So I'm not sure what's the best approach we would have there in terms of the release management. I kind of like the current release management with the release pipelines, workflows.
Yes.
Workflows.
To be honest,
workflows. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we are better off for V1 to do it manually for the time being. Yes, that's most likely not the best way. I mean,
no,
the best way in the sense. Yes, it is the best way because we cannot have this time. We would need to create the new YAML files and test them. I rather invest in something else.
Agreed. Yeah, good point.
And my hope is that V2, given that the API surface didn't change drastically, shouldn't be much of a bump ride for people to upgrade. No. That's my hope. Also, we used a lot of obsolete attributes and whatnot. So, but yeah, maybe someone will show this link to exactly that stream in half a year. And then I will be very sad about myself.
You will be regretting it. Well, I guess your point is we don't want to spend the time until we feel like if we end up having to do a V1 release every second week, then it might be a point where it's worth the investment in creating. Yeah. So let's what's the Yagni principle? Do it when we need it. Like you ain't gonna need it until you need it, and then you do it. So yeah, okay. So, well, let's see. Next week we could start just scanning through the API surface.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any other pressing issues or things that we need to.
No, I wanted to start with this. I started already.
Yeah.
So there was this from basically from the creator of Newtons of JSON, now working directly for the .NET team. That routes will be updated depending on the parameters set and stuff like that. I started working on that, and that's that.
Yeah.
I don't want to sugarcoat that I was too lazy to finish it. But I will finish that.
Yeah, but it also makes sense, like to postpone new features or functionality until we've
settled the API.
Yeah.
That is. Okay. Thank you for defending my.
Oh well, this
laziness?
is open source. Like if this happens after you've done with your work that actually pays the bills, and you're done with your family, and then you have time to hang with me a bit, and that's the same for me. So nothing really happens unless we actively try to make it happen, and last priorities, things like that.
Yeah,
I think it's. I feel like there's a chance. So I'm just thinking. I'm going on a 8-hour flight to Seattle for the MVP summit in a few weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So yeah, next week we can start the API review. I might spend some time on the plane just doing things like that as well, and I'll build up a list of things I want your feedback on, and then we might be able to get to some good state quite soon.
How easy is it, by the way, because we're using GitHub pages? Can you have subdomains? I never tried that. I have absolutely no idea.
I think so. So if you go to the bUnit dev organization, right? So click on the thing there. You go. Yeah. So there's bUnit dev.github.org. I think what we can do is we can create a bUnit dev v1.github.org. And that then with some, configuration in Cloudflare, we can have that point to another GitHub's pages. And then it's just two different.
Because the alternative is we take the whole documentation as of now, freeze them basically, and have something like bunit.dev/v1.
Yeah, so I think we might want to. I think we just add another repository like we have here for the main page. We just call it bunit v1.dev, and maybe it's just straight up clone of the v2, or well, not the v2, but the current one, and then when we change the v2 branch to be the main branch, then then things just work. So the documentation would also be fairly static for the v1. I could actually try to set that up. We have 15 minutes. I have a feeling we might be able to pull it off. So let me pull you over to the site and
let's go.
Share some screen. Here, let me open up a new browser window and share screen. And where do we have view, window, region to share?
Ooh,
so
nice.
Like that one, GitHub, and we want to go to bUnit. Actually, we want to go here, and I think we can just do new thing. No template. It can be public. Why not? Nothing of those kinds of things. So v1.bunit.dev, I guess.
Ooh, that works. Nice.
It's available because it's under our thing.
You think someone else took that?
Well, they can't.
That would be
Yeah.
It's typical problems in multiplayer games that you know the username is always used by someone.
So now I'm trying to remember how to set up. Is it pages? GitHub page design to host. Let me zoom in for the small screen abled folks watching. GitHub pages design for person, yada yada. Deploy from branch. Oh, there is no branch.
But isn't there automatically one if you don't use it? No, there's not. Okay. I thought you didn't say like create an initial commit.
No, I will do creating code spaces. I am maybe regretting decisions here. Let's see. Does take a while to load.
I mean, there are a lot of files in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Creating that index. Oh boy.
Yeah, let me just go back here. Now we have something. I want to just have a look here. I can't remember how things are done. I think this is just, yeah, I'll just create an index HTML. Index.html. bUnit v1 docs goes here. And I believe that's all we need. And how do I commit from here? Can I commit from here? Git commit am empty HTML. Sure. Git push. Do I have to push? I had to push. Okay. Let's close that one down. Go back here. And we have oh no .github. What the hell is this?
Ooh.
Oh, it's something with the I guess it's something. Yeah, so we have a very rudimentary thing. Okay, so now we can go in and do the pages thing. We can say deploy from branch, main. Yes, sure, save, do that. Now custom domain, that would be v1.bunit.dev. Sure, why not? No, just do that, I guess. And DNS check in progress. Okay. Learn about something. Verify your custom domain. That would be this one. Oh. Under in GitHub, click your profile under settings. Yada yada yada. Panning and add a domain. Okay, we can try to do that. Yup. Did it say settings, right? And then hope I'm not sharing anything secret here. What was it again? Settings.
Pages, that makes sense. Code planning and automation section of the sidebar, click pages. Shouldn't there be a pages? Yeah, exactly. Up, no, up, a bit down, one down, yes.
Yeah. Okay. But I think switch to context. We want to have this context. There we go. And pages. Huh.
Okay.
Go to your organization. Okay, well, I can try to do that here. v1.bunit.dev. Add this domain. Okay. Cloudflare. Let me just pull this off screen real quick.
Why? What should happen?
I don't know. Maybe it.
I'm also so horrified. That's why I don't want to. Just imagine you live code daily or so. I feel like I would mess it up and bam, your Azure subscription or something is public.
Yeah, I actually had I had a plugin. I still have a plugin for that can sort of blur semi-secret stuff that you might have in like Asia. I don't know, GUIDs, rather random GUIDs that you might don't want to share on screen. I think was C# Fridge that told me about that. All right, let's see. Where is Cloudflare? I'm looking at my second factor stuff here. There we go. Okay. Domains.
It's interesting. I don't know. That's your real background, huh? The
No. It's the. So I can probably slow. This. No, that's not what I.
Maybe it's easier if you just put the zoom to 50%, so it's so small that no one can read it anyway. And then you go up if you're really sure that there's no sensitive information.
Manage domains. Manage? I thought I was in here. Yes, I am in the process of transferring it away from domain. Where's my... I don't know where that is. There's a place where you can do DNS. I want to do DNS. God damn it. Here you can see how many visitors we have. Quite a few visitors on bUnit.dev.
Yeah.
Like it's 12,000 unique visitors. Now where the hell do I actually manage my... Oh, here we go. DNS records. There we go. Okay. And I guess... What are you telling me to do? Create a text record on... Okay. With the following host name. So we want to copy that, and we say not filter, add record. It should be txt.
TXT, yeah.
Name that one there.
Boy, you still have 5 minutes. I don't want to increase the pressure here, but you said 15 minutes, and
I can do
counting on you here.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see. Saved. There's some old TXT records we had. Right.
I hope they're not
we're back
problematic.
Here. Verify.
No.
Hey, it's verified. Okie dokie. So that's the thing.
Nice.
Okay, so how can I then...
Now we just have to put in all the contents, or like the old content.
Well, I guess, let's see, settings. Have you just picked up on this now? Your site is live at, well, is it now? No, it's not, because I haven't told...
Ooh, checking preference. Yeah, I mean that can take 5 minutes. That's unfair.
No, yeah.
That's not on you.
Yeah, so the problem is more that I want to actually point it at something. So verifying your custom domain, managing custom domain. So we want to have it. There's some. Yeah, we need to add some A records. Otherwise, it will not work. So now we've verified that we have it, and we see we have the records here already. Is it actually the same ones? 90. Yep, it's the same ones. So we want to add some additional. We want to basically duplicate these. All right. Oh, almost there. Is there a way for me to duplicate these guys? Oh, and you can also add a C name for that.
Or can you yeah, you can import and export.
I'll just do it manually.
You could export those 4, edit them in your text editor, and then import them again, which doesn't take you like 5 times the amount of time, but you did.
Hang on, there did you go? You went up there. Okay, that's one. Where's the add button? Here you go again. Then it's the second one, V1. Point to there. Save. So help me. I'm doing copy paste stuff. Don't let me. V1. The third one. Save. And the last one. Add V1. There we go. Okay. I think that might actually be it. So if I now go to v1.bunit.dev, still nothing. Okay. Fair enough. So you want to test it out? We can do that. I guess copy and then fire up a terminal.
But you called it only v1. Shouldn't it be v1.bunit.dev?
Oh yeah. Well, v1.bunit.dev. I don't do dig apparently. Oh, hang on. I just need to switch to do Ubuntu instead.
Oh, I can dig. That sounds...
no answer, I guess. Oh well. So, I'm guessing...
the name should not be why only v1?
No, because
it's a subdomain.
Subdomain, yeah. So
and you don't have to have the full qualifier.
Well,
I'm just asking. I do not know.
I am not sure. Let's see. Use add for root. So I'm fairly certain if I go and edit the existing ones here, it will. Oh, actually, you might be right. Dang it. What's going on?
You are in edit mode.
Yeah. Let's try that, because the other ones just said save. Oh no, it actually didn't take.
Okay, so
okay. If I do this and hit save here, it just normalizes it back to v1, which is what I expect. But I guess there might be a slight delay before the changes kick in. It is DNS after all. So yeah.
Okay, but then I am a bit out of ideas. What's the problem right now?
No, I think it just takes a bit before it kicks in. Yeah.
Oh, I get something with dig. I can share again. Do I say I screwed up? Here. This is the right one. Now don't.
Now it says DNS check successful. Here. Still almost. Oh, nothing yet.
But I cannot. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. So there are some entries, but that's that. But yeah, I mean, you can take up to 5 minutes, but no, I cannot resolve the host. Well, maybe in 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think so. All in all, this should more or less do the thing.
Interesting.
Right.
I like that.
I think so. Okay, it has a C name. Yeah. Well, if this doesn't work within so what are you seeing on your side? Let me just zoom in. Oh no, these are not the right UR IPs still. So it should be something along what we're supposed to have is 185, 199, 108, 153. So it's probably still, there's some time to live. So if you do a dig on bUnit.dev, you will see.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, those are still not right. Oh, hang on. No, these are Cloudflares probably.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. So it might.
I mean, what we could do is, Hey. Now I type in my password for the... No, I was like, nice post a comment in chat directly. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So this one, this doesn't change. Before I ping stuff, is it? Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's fine. If not, we will pick it up next week. I think 98% is there.
I think so, yeah. It might just be DNS catching up, our local DNS things. So, yeah. Anywho, there we go.
Shared our secrets.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I think we have sort of the inklings of a plan, something along the lines of copying the existing repo stuff from the one from the normal blog repo to the other one, and then
Exactly. That is the last step. We just copy all the contents and trigger one time the action, and then it should be published. Hopefully, if Cloudflare picks it up accordingly.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That is the candle the right way. Somehow.
I think like Saturn and Mars is aligned soon. Maybe that helps as well.
That may solve the DNS problem. Oh,
amazing! Thank you for your time.
Next week, yeah, you too, man.
Yes.
Hopefully we will. Let's just not make too many promises, but hopefully next week we will be back online for another one, and that will be us going through all the public APIs and
hopefully also not promising anything.
No.
If the GitHub tracker is full of stuff, then maybe we do this again.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's do that. All right.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
It was nice, and we will see us in a week.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Probably.